Hey yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Jay Reezy, and today I'm coming at you as your analyst for the USPL, otherwise known as the United Showdown Pokemon League, hosted by my two good friends, Cushy and Ranger W, whose links will be down in the description below, along with the 10 other YouTubers they'll be duking it out with for the chance to call themselves the Season 1 champions. Now, before we hop into this post-draft analysis, which yes, I know was posted after the week one power rankings or the week one battles or whatever, I just want to give a quick rundown of how things are going to work from here on out because things do look a little out of place. And yes, this is being uploaded after the week one battles. So I'm just going to give a quick rundown of scheduling as far as how things are going to go for this channel and for the other YouTubers. So basically, the schedule for the battlers is battles are done between Monday and Friday. Free agency transactions and all trades are done between Friday and Sunday, so long as your free agency transaction, if it's done Friday, it needs to be done after your battle, and all battles will be uploaded on Sunday. Now, speaking on uploads, um, everybody in the league is required to upload their battles on Sunday. Now, as far as this channel, I will be giving you 3 videos a week. Monday is just going to be the weekly recap as far as battles, give my favorite battle of the week, and that's how Mondays are going to go. Tuesdays is going to be all free agency transactions, all trades that have taken place after week one, and Saturdays will be the power rankings leading into the Sunday battles, the match of the week, the weekly pick'ems, all that fun stuff. So that's how that's going to go. Now, going on into this post-draft analysis, this is just going to be a quick rundown. I'm not going to get too in-depth about the teams. If you do want an in-depth analysis, then like I said before, go ahead and check everybody out, or go ahead and check out who you think is your favorite. Go ahead and check out their analysis, see why they did this, why they did that. And, if you really want that in-depth analysis, please go check them out by all means. And without further ado, last thing before I hop into this vid or this post-draft analysis, to the coaches, this is all opinionated. Please don't take any of this to heart. Since this is post-draft, there may have been some things that you may have drafted that just didn't fit the team that you probably made up with a free agency transaction because, spoilers, yes, free agency transactions have been done, so please expect free agency transaction video coming up tomorrow. So, like I said, don't take anything to heart. If I say something, then that you find offending, then it's just too bad, honestly. There's no time to get in feelings in over a game or like over Pokemon. Come on, it's just Pokemon. So, with all things said, let's hop right into the fun of this Pokemon Draft League. Starting right here at number 12, we have the Greenville Blazekins, coached by my boy Jerome here. Now, this was a super offensive team that I noticed like right off the bat. And first thing I noticed is there's literally almost no defensive presence. Tangrowth and Slowking are decently well as a regenerator core, but they're pressured often by common types like Flying and Bug and Dark. And Galvantula is a nice mod to have for sticky webs, but however, it's forced to be brought nearly every week against heavily offensive teams. Mega Glalie is a really odd pick in my opinion, and Jerome definitely could have opted for something better to maybe help out Tangrowth and Slowking. And Flygon, as you can see, is his only form of removing hazards, so that's not a really good sign. However, there are some picks that stand out alone, like Mimikyu and Nidoking, who are very strong wall breakers, and not to mention Z Infernape, which is highly threatening due to its high base speed and very versatile attacking stats in its attack and special attack, and it has a very wide move pool on top of that, so that makes this mod very unpredictable for a Z-Mon. However, this team is just far outclassed due to the lack of synergy, and there's just not a defensive mod to help support this team. Moving on to my number 11, we have Nappy Bird, the coach of the Denver Rowlets. Now, this team, much like the last team, it has a lot of offense and not too much defensive presence, being Heatran and Gourgeist are his only two walls, which is good in typing, but having those only two mons to hold down the fort isn't really that great to have, as far is supporting the team. Also, this team has no hazard removal, like at all. There's no hazard removal at all. The only way you can stop hazard is bringing taunt on either your Noivern or your Terrakion or your Mega Sharpedo. That's the only way. And speaking of Mega Sharpedo, I really think that's a questionable pick because either, if I'm not mistaken, you do have to Mega Evolve first turn in this league. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments for anyone who is in the league. But I do believe you have to Mega Evolve first turn, which I believe definitely takes away from Sharpedo's viability already, like right off the back, not being able to utilize speed boost. So I really don't think Mega Sharpedo was the best pick Nappy Bird could have made. Ariados, really just an awful mon in my opinion, because although it does set up sticky web, there are better mons that I'm pretty sure could have set up webs better than this. And I know Galvantula was taken, but I know things like Smeargle and Shuckle, two other mons that gain access to sticky web, even Leavanny, definitely could have been a better option over Ariados if he wanted a sticky web user. So I really don't agree with that. He definitely could have done a lot better with his free picks. Seeing as a Alolan Raichu is the only mon that seems to somewhat fit the team. On the bright side, however, Terrakion as a Zmon is great. Uh, this thing makes it that much, like having it as a Zmon makes it that much more of a wall breaker and a sweeper, seeing as it already has access to Swords Dance and Rock Polish to help boost its powerful attack and speed even further. And it has really nice coverage options that can be further boosted by Z moves. So, now Terrakion can catch its at least Terrakion will be able to catch its usual switch ins with strong Z moves, especially after a Swords Dance, which just makes this thing strong. But overall, this team was just really, it has the pieces to do well. However, it's just too many things holding it down. Now, we move on. Next to number 10, we go to the San Diego Azels, coached by my boy Gwydion. Now, having access to weather is really nice, but there are just way too many mons that don't fit this team, don't fit the play style of a weather team. Yes, Tyranitar and Excadrill are fine, but when you have a mon paired like Mega Venusaur, which utilizes synthesis to heal up, and synthesis gets weakened in the sandstorm, so having that as your Mega really doesn't fit. It is a good Mega overall, but it just doesn't fit the playstyle of a sand team. Now, Z Excadrill. I mean, well, before we hop into Excadrill, there was also, I just want to point out there, this team has a lot of good versatility and it has nice cores to make up for the lack of synergy as far as playing in the sand. And now we move on to Z Excadrill, which may not be as the most versatile mon, but it does gain access to Swords Dance and a really strong attack stat. So being able to boost things like Tectonic Rage and Corkscrew Crash and Continental Crush just makes this thing super ridiculously strong under sand, especially after a Swords Dance. This thing will be hitting ridiculously hard. Now, and much like Terrakion, it doesn't have to have the versatility to boast as a strong Z move user. Also, lastly, Jotagon, it may have been a nice pick to take pressure off of certain mons. However, two mons on Haxorus and T-Tar, which Haxorus has the ability to fire off strong hits, especially thanks to Mold Breaker. And now as you can see on the dock, Haxorus was replaced by Uxie, but Haxorus was taken at the time. But Haxorus was in Uxie's place, and T-Tar able to set up rocks. Two things that Jodigan can do, T-Tar and Haxorus just do a whole lot better. So perhaps finding a mon to maybe replace Haxorus or Jodigan would be nice. And as you can see, he did replace it with Uxie. Now moving on to number 9, we have the Falkirk Brixtons, coached by Danny. Now, there are a lot of mons that pair well together offensively. Tingy and Mega Gardevoir is an amazing wall-breaking core, and having mons like Zoroark, Salamence, and Sneasel to revenge kill or set up just pairs so well with on top of Victini and Mega Gardevoir. And let's not forget, Victini with a Z move just is absolutely amazing. Having base 100 all across the board and having an access to a plethora of moves to abuse that is just absolutely amazing. Um, Having Salamence as your only defogger, which is weak to rocks, is not good. So I'm not sure how you're gonna plan to work around that. Um, However, he does have a lot of good defensive support, but Vaporeon and Mugens, they support themselves and the team very well thanks to Wish and Amoonguss being able to pivot really well with Regenerator. I really don't agree with the Electros pick since it and Magnezone sort of perform the same role um, as far as giving slow bolt turns into things like Mega Gardevoir and Victini. But I mean, I can see where he kind of wanted to go with that since he is kind of weak to Earthquake, with Salamence being the only mon immune to Earthquake. So I can kind of see where he was going with that with Electros, kind of, but I still don't really see it at all. Um, and also, there's like a really he has mons to switch into it, but the fighting and fairy type weakness can definitely be exploited in this team, especially if Victini is taken out of the picture. Not well, fighting Victini and Amoonguss. Victini and Amoonguss can definitely be easily removed from the picture to exploit the fighting fairy weakness this team sort of sports. Now, moving on to number 8, we have Combat Mystic, and he's the coach of the LA Chargers. Now, this was a decently built team. Megalodios is a nice, interesting pick. However, and it was definitely a pick that stands out, and it surprisingly fits the team rather well. A lot of the mons that pair well with each other, they pair well with each other offensively and defensively. Example: Entei and Raikou. Entei can break through grass types for Raikou, and Raikou can break down bulky water types for Entei. Chansey and Donphan form a nice, decent defensive core with Donphan taking physical hits and Chansey taking the special hits. And Ditto and Chansey. Now, I did mention Chansey before, but Chansey, as we all know, is basically setup fodder. And being able to have Ditto to prevent setup sweep is really nice. It's something that people would overlook in Ditto. Ditto is able to come in and copy stats, copy the stat boost of Mons and be able to revenge sweep for this team, which is really nice. And I'm glad Combat definitely took that into consideration when drafting Chansey. Now, a lot of these mons have one typing, so that means no real extra stab coverage, which is you can bypass that because some of these mons have a really good wound pool, but there's really just a lot of mons hitting off of one stab, so that's not too great to have. Also, this team has no real answers to dark types, especially in the form of knockoff, in which the only mon that isn't getting its item knocked off is Megalodios outside of a Selgor having Sticky Hold. And when Latios is weak to knockoff in based off of just typing alone, that's really not good. So finding a better mon to take the pressure off of Megalodios being the only legitimate mon that can't get his item knocked off needs to be assessed. Also, just kind of missed this whole point completely. But Raikou as a Zmon, I think, is really interesting, and I think is really smart by Combat Mystic because rather than grabbing a versatile Mon, he wanted to grab a Mon with really high speed and really high attacking power that can be boosted by thanks to moves by Calm Mind. And Gigavolt Havoc coming off of this thing at +1 is going to be insanely strong. So, having Z Raikou, although overlooked for not having the most versatility, it is definitely, in my opinion, a good Z-Mon because of its ability to just fire off strong, amazingly strong hits. Next, we move on to number 7, the Aberdeen Iron Scarves, coached by my good friend Yoshi Blaze. Let me go ahead and highlight it right there. Now, this is another good team. Z Garchomp is ridiculously strong, especially after a Swords Dance, not to mention it has insane coverage as well. However, this is the only Mon on his team that can set up hazards, so meaning sometimes he's going to have to run Stealth Rocks if he wants prior damage, which is going to end up taking a move slot where maybe an extra coverage move or a Z move could potentially be held. And this is all just like potentially. I mean, he can definitely run all the coverage he needs along with the Z move, but there may be a situation where that can't happen. So like I said, just potentially, not saying he can't. Uh, Let me see what else. Also, Slowbro, Mega Scizor, and Sylveon pair well very defensively. We all know what Slowbro can do as a defensive tank. Mega Scizor is honestly one of the best Megas in the game, if not the best Mega. And Sylveon is one of the best defensive fairy types, literally only behind Clefable. So having those monsters pair well together, also form a nice Fairy Steel Dragon Core, is really nice for Yoshi players to pick up. Gengar and Chandelure kind of perform the same role. However, Gengar does provide a little bit more utility, and Chandelure provides a little bit more wall breaking, so there's a little bit of diversity in that. I really don't like how, um, Dodrio and Gengar are his only real answers to ghost types, and as well as Absol. But if you're gonna have answers to ghost types, you would prefer something a little bit more bulkier, not just immunities or resistances, because Dodrio and Absol, well, yeah, Gengar can beat ghost types as well as Chandelure, but they're weak to ghost types. And Dodrio and Absol, they're immune and resistant respectively. However, ghost types do tend to run coverage nowadays to deal with Dodrio and Absol. So perhaps finding a better mon to answer, you know, to better answer two ghost types would be really nice. Moving on to number 6. Now this is the top half of the league. We start at the not Denver, Chicago Beartics, coached by Mortal. Now uh, Mortal really drafted a great team, seeing as he drafted a bunch of leftover mons because Mortal wasn't able to be there for the full draft, so he basically got leftovers. But looking at his team, you honestly could not tell at all. And right off the bat, you just notice there's a lot of great synergy. Clefable, Mega Aggron, and Dragonite is perhaps, if not the top, I know it's definitely the scariest Fairy Steel Dragon cores in the entire league. Z Dragonite is insanely strong. One is able to set up a D dance and just nuke things, or can also just catch things off guard with its special attacks. And Dragonite has a really usable special attack on top of the fact that it has really strong special attacking moves like Hurricane, Draco Meteor, Fire Blast, and things like that to just pick off its usual physical defensive switch-ins. He has a lot of he has a lot of U-turners to pair with Magneton to form a Volt turn core with just literally anything. Gliscor and Decidueye are nice defoggers to help out Dragonite and Salazzle, which is really nice because they're not weak to hazards, which is really something good to have. And speaking on Salazzle, Salazzle can definitely break through a lot of the mons that tend to check D-Knight. So it can just basically take out, your bulky fairies, your bulky steel types, bulky grass types that may want to switch in if it's not running Hurricane and stuff like that. Also, Suicune was a really nice mod to add on for the bulk, and Frogadier, unlike Greninja, can be run protein, so this makes it quite an unpredictable mod for the opponent. So good job on Mortal for drafting this team, especially seeing as it's a team just full of a whole bunch of leftover mods. Next, we move on to number 5. And number 5 is going to be the Seattle Marinis, coached by Easy Pickings. Now, any team with a Magearna on it is scary, and having it as a Zmon is just absolutely terrifying. Like, just obliteratingly terrifying. Literally, the entire team is just made up of Volt Turn core, which is great for gaining just all types of momentum. You can have slow Volt Turns, or you can have fast Volt Turns to just keep up the offensive pressure, which is really great for this team to have. Landers T and Mega B honestly are the heart of this U-turn, Volt turning core. And with Mega B's immediate power and Lando's ability to just blow back unprepared teams with the ability to just run so many sets, this team will run on these two mods alone. Just Mega B Drill and Landorus Theory are going to carry the team a lot and quite often. Umbreon is really his only reliable bulk, and seeing as it has the only legitimate recovery in Moonlight and Wish, which is something no other mod on this team has, the team is definitely going to heavily rely on Umbreon to come on most weeks, especially weeks where they're going to be pressured by heavy offense and they're going to need a Mon to want to heal them back up with Wish. And Umbreon can pack pretty nice healthy wishes thanks to his nice HP stat. However, Umbreon is definitely getting pressured a lot as far as being able to support the team. So if he can find another Mon to kind of pair with Umbreon and take the pressure off of it, that would be really nice. Next, we move on to number 4, and number 4 is none other than my good friend Ranger W, coach of the Baltimore Blastoise. Now, he did a great job with drafting Arcanine as a wall to just fire types that want to just switch in on Weavile and Tapu Koko. Not to mention, speaking of Weavile and Tapu Koko, um, Weavile, Tapu Koko, and Mega Latios are just an amazing core, like amazing offensive core, just thanks to their speed, their typing, and just insane coverage. Z Weavile, like I said, doesn't really need to work on versatility. It's just the fact that it's insanely strong attack stat, plus it's really great speed, makes it that much more of a wall breaker. And having Z coverage moves is really nice. Things like Poison Jab, and I think it gets Aerial Ace, help it against like bulky fighting types and bulky fairy types that may want to switch in. And if taking prior damage can be KO'd on switching. A little bit more about this team. Mega Latios, like I said before, much like Mega Latios, it was a really interesting pick. And again, much like Mega Latios fits this team really well. We already mentioned Weavile. Weavile has really great speed and nice attacking stabs, which pressures so many teams. Ice and Dark type stab is really hard to get by for many teams unless you have a really solid fairy type. He has a lot of fake out Mons, which is really cool. You know, fake out Weavile, fake out Kecleon, fake out Blastoise, and fake out Scrafty, which is, I think, really funny and really cool to have on a team. So in case he wants to run fake out on one of these Mons one day, I think that'll be like really cool to have as far as having a fake out Mon to just stop the opponent from doing whatever it wants to do. And, you know, this team, unlike other teams, this team can be run offensively or defensively reliably thanks to having Mons like Skarmory to set up hazards and whatnot, and Shaymin and Mega Latios to just kind of heal up the team with Healing Wish and or aromatherapy and whatnot. And it can be ran offensively, of course, seeing as Tapu Koko, Mega Latios, Weavile, Nidoqueen, Swellow, and Scrafty can all just be brought and just blow teams back that aren't going to be prepared to just handle with all of those Mons respectively. And like I said before, really good job in drafting a bulky Mon and Arcanine, which pairs well with Blastoise and Shaymin to form a very absolutely phenomenal Fire Gas Water core. So overall, very solid team. Next, we move on to number 3. And number 3 is going to be the Manhattan Metagross, coached by none other than Manhattan. The only other weather team in the league, however, this one is a little bit more better built than the Sand team, and there are a lot more Mons that can function under the rain here. Megapert and Mega Kingdra alone are just two devastatingly powerful sweepers under the rain. Being able to check physical Mons and being able to check physically defensive Mons and special defensive Mons alone with just their stats, not even getting to coverage moves, not even getting to their sets, just alone with their stats, they can just take down defensive teams no matter what style, special defensive or physical defensive. Those two alone can just take down teams. Tornadus Therian is a really great wall breaker to pair with them, being able to utilize his speed outside of the rain, which is good. And it has a very versatile move pool to work with very versatile stats, meaning it's not going to be forced to run a Z move every week, which is really good. A lot of these Mons that were drafted as Z Mons are sometimes forced to run Z moves to pack a little bit more extra of a punch, but Tornadus Therian really doesn't have to run a Z move in order to do that, seeing as it's already strong. Alolan Golem was a bit of an out-of-the-place pick when you already have the better Deontay to set up hazards, that, and not to mention Registeel is also there to set up hazards, but we'll get into that later. Heliolisk and Reuni are two Mons that really support Megapert and Kingdra really well by softening up things for a sweep, and Reunion alone can just sweep with either Calm Mind or Trick Room, which surprisingly can still fit into the team, which is really nice. And again, we get back to Reggie Steel. Reggie Steel is another Mon that just kind of didn't fit due to its role already being performed by another Mon, but it does, however, appreciate the rain when it comes to weakening fire type attacks, which is really good. Next, we move on to number two. Number two uh, will be the Boca Raton Raticate. Sorry I butchered that, but that team is coastered. Guys, I cannot English today, forgive me. But that team is coached by none other than Troy. Now, Troy did a really great job drafting this team. Manaphy alone should just scare teams like insanely crazy because it has base 100 all across the board and it has access to Tail Glow to just boost its very powerful special attacks. And then coupling that with the fact that it's a Z-Mon, like Z-moves coming from this thing will be ridiculously strong, especially with the fact that it's equally spread stats. Doesn't mean it has to be ran offensive all the time. Chestnut, Alolan Muck, and Kofag is a really nice, fun defensive core. And if you really sit and think about it, they cover their weaknesses rather well, being weak to only truly fire and flying types, honestly, which are again covered again in this team by Swampert and Jirachi respectively. We'll jump into those picks in a minute, but Zygarde is a Mon that pairs really well with Manaphy as a wall breaking core, which can just break through defensive teams for Mega Manectric to just clean up mid to late game, which is really solid. Togekiss, Licky, and Jirachi are all able to provide wish support, which means all the pressure to provide wishes to the team isn't being put on one Mon. So that's really solid to have multiple wish users to kind of take the pressure off of each other as far as providing wishes to the team. Avalugg and Swampert just add on to this really, really bulky team. And just overall, this team is just a really fat team that relies on having nice, solid, bulky Mons to take hits, having good Mons to fire off strong attacks, and just having Mega Manectric Sweep. It's a very good team. However, and I mean, it's definitely going to be hard to break through. However, there's not a lot of immediate firepower when it comes to Mons. A lot of these Mons do require setup, or they do require a boosting item as far as Life Orb or Choice Band or whatever, or Choice Specs. You know, they require some sort of boost in order to provide immediate attacking power, which isn't really good for this team as far as having immediate firepower, meaning he's going to have to set up a lot of times with Manaphy or Zygarde in order to pack a real punch with this team. And then lastly, we move on to my number one pick, and I kind of feel like this is a biased pick because, I mean, he does run the league, but honestly, Cushy deserves the number one spot as the coach of the Indiana Salamanders. I don't know how someone let this man have both Kieran Black and Mega Lopunny on the same team, but the rest of the league is definitely going to regret it. These two combined with the fact that Kieran is, as a Z-Mon, is just insanely ridiculous, seeing as it has its attack stat is just way too strong. Then it has a really good special attack stat on top of that. So its attacks are going to be hitting super strong. Couple that with a Z-move, this thing is just going to be blowing back teams. And Mega Lopunny and Kieran Black are just honestly, I think they're going to pick up at least two kills nearly every match that they come. They're going to at least pick up 2 kills. Not 2 kills combined, 2 kills respectively, meaning Mega Lopunny and Kieran Black, when they come in combined, they're going to get at least 4 kills. 2 kills each. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. But moving on from Kieran and Mega Lopunny, well, not moving on completely from Kieran, but Kieran Black, Tapu Fini, and Celestial form a really, really solid and bulky Fairy Steel Dragon Core. I think it's up there with, I believe, the team that drafted Clefable, Mega Aggron, and Dragonite. But I mean, it's just, as far as Fairy Steel Dragon Cores, those two really do compete well together, and it's just amazing, like how well those two drafted like the best Fairy Steel Dragon Cores out there. He has good Mons like multiple mons to remove hazards, and he has the ability to stack all those hazards back up as well, barring sticky web. He has 3 ground types on his team, which is a bit questionable, but when he has at least 2 mons to switch into all their weaknesses, it honestly just gives free leeway to just click Earthquake on everything with his mons, to just soften things up for a Mega Lopunny sweep. And let's not forget my favorite mon. Now, I know that my favorite mon is on here. This is not biased. This is honestly just a well-drafted team. But my favorite wall-breaking mon in Emboar, literally my favorite mon of all time, like best Gen 5 starter in my opinion. You know, amazing wall breaker to just pair well with this entire team. And this team is just going to honestly cause problems. And I honestly see this team going far into the playoffs, possibly being in the finals potentially to just take it all and win the league. So that's basically my rundown of the rankings in this league. Like I said, if you want a full in-depth rundown of the teams, like I said, go ahead and go into the description below and check out each coach's team, or check out your favorite coach's team and see what thought process they put in to making their team. Now, little quick notes before I leave off. Like I said, this was uploaded rather late, so don't mind this. This won't be happening anymore. Tomorrow, expect the free agency transaction video to be coming up. It'll give you a rundown of all the free agency transactions and trades that happen. And Saturday, I'll give you another power rankings. However, this one will, from now on, power rankings will be uploaded on Saturdays, and that's basically how it's going to go. It's going to be power rankings. I'm just going to give you the match of the week, my weekly pick'ems, and basically that's how things are going to go for this channel. So now that everything's done and out of the way, like I said, I'm your analyst, Jay Reezy. Do expect me a lot in the future, and I won't be the only one in these videos. I will have fellow analysts, my bad, to join me in these videos. So best believe you'll have some company, not just me talking to you guys. I know I don't have a YouTube channel, but hey, go check me out on Instagram or whatever. No, I'm just joking. But without further ado, I'm your guy, Jay Reezy. I'm your analyst for the USPL, otherwise known as the United Showdown Pokemon League. And with that, I am signing off. Later, guys.